Well, hello again and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm Tom, as always, and with my gorgeous, wonderful, intelligent, hard-working, Magic Kingdom loving wife and co-host, Michelle.
Thank you. You're so sweet, honey. Thank you. And hi, everybody.
So good to have you with us. We are actually recording this episode on Saturday, September 18th, 2021. That's because tomorrow, when we would normally be recording on September 19th, we will be making our triumphant return to the Disneyland Resort.
So excited. I can't wait.
Yes, it's been since July. Mm-hmm. When we had to cut our trip short, unfortunately.
Weird circumstances last time.
We thought we'd be there a few times more immediately.
Right.
We have this, along with, yes, we did get a magic key, but we have this, the 3-day Southern California ticket that we were going to use up really quickly within July and early August. And well, stuff happened. So now we're going to be using up the last 2 days of those within the next 8 days.
Before they expire.
And then we're going to let the magic key kick in.
Right.
So, but lots of fun stuff we're looking forward to checking out. We're going to Disneyland Park this week. Next week, we are going to head over to California Adventure Park. Finally get to see the update on the Jungle Cruise.
Right.
Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Woo-hoo.
We have some possible dining reservations we're looking to get into, and
possibly try a restaurant I've never had.
That's true.
A chance to
we
go
do have
to.
that booked. We're still trying to work some things out to see what pops open today. It's one of those tips I tell you about. Always check, especially the day before your trip, if you're looking for a special reservation, because a lot of cancellations before people actually have to pay for that reservation. So keep checking. We keep checking. And also a fun thing is that this weekend is actually Gay Days out at the Disneyland Resort, which is always a blast.
I know.
The LGBTQ plus community always has so much fun out there, and it's so fun to join in with them.
Yeah, helping celebrate. And it's always funny because we've, in the past, just kind of happened on it and like, wow, this is so fun. But this time we actually are aware before we leave. So
yeah, so it's going to be a totally enjoyable trip, and we're looking forward to it. As for today, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventurespodcast.com. Very well done. And while you're there,
you can sign up for the newsletter. Although it's funny, I almost said the Gmail account.
Welcome to my world of getting things all meshed up in your head. It happens to me every single week. Yes, please sign up for the newsletter. It's just another way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. Another great way to do that is to follow us on social media. Please find us on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you're on Facebook, come on in and join us in our fun little Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group, where we're just putting out positive Disney energy out there with a lot of you great listeners, Hyperion Adventurers.
Right. A fun week we had this past week.
We
love
did.
Some of the posts that people put out there. You all are awesome.
Yeah, a lot of great pictures and all sorts of stuff going out there. Jonathan Cotton, who's been on our show, is a great friend of ours. He put in there that he's applying for the Plan Disney group. I almost said Mom's Panel. I'm so used to it.
Same.
Yeah. And so good luck to him, and good luck to all of you who are listening to the show, or even if you don't, good luck to all of you who are putting your hat into the ring and taking your shot at being a part of Plan Disney. We're rooting for you all. Please also find us on YouTube. You can find some of our videos there. Just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe, and you'll know whenever we have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, as Michelle mentioned earlier, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. Sorry, I was a little ahead of the game there.
No, you're always ahead of the game. I'm always behind the game. So somewhere we end up in the middle when that happens. So
yin and yang here.
Also, if you want to find some ways to support our show, you can go to our Spreadshirt shop, where we have a bunch of not just shirts, all sorts of merchandise with various different logos, including the hashtag Real Men Love Frozen logo, the I'm heading to a Hyperion Adventureland logo.
Which is awesome. Great logo.
And our more traditional logos as well. Also, you can also join in on our Patreon group where, and I want to mention this every once in a while, just so you know, with our Patreon group, we will never put out any Hyperion Adventures podcast content specifically just for that group. this will always be free for everybody. But if you do want to sign in and help support the show with that group, with things starting as low as $2 per month, we have lots of Disney Dishes blog content that will be going out to you.
Some swag, some information.
Swag as well, yes.
You only will get, and, some other fun things and occasional prizes and contests and things like that. So
Yep.
Lots of fun things to do with our Patreon group.
Yeah, and we're in works of possibly bringing on some of our patrons into maybe a show with us at some point in the future. We will let you know about that if you're a part of that group. But we have Disney Dishes blog recipes that go out there. Of course, we have stickers, all sorts of, and of course the shout out on the show. So thanks to all those of you who have already become patrons of this show. Again, just do go to patreon.com/Hyperion Adventures Podcast to find us there.
That's right.
Yes. Now let's see if Michelle remembered this week. And it looks by that face, she did not.
It's so funny because during the week I thought about it and I was like, okay, I'm going to wait till the end of the week in case things happen. And that was like on Wednesday. And I never thought about it again. So.
That's okay. It happens. I totally get it. My favorite thing from this week always kind of goes by the board. I actually
I don't know why. People must think, oh my God, she can't remember from week to week.
I sort of forgot myself, but I came up with one just moments ago in my head. So I'm going to give Michelle a second to have one come up. My favorite thing that I have seen from this week are the statues from the 50 characters, whatever the Walt Disney World 50, whatever it is for this 50th anniversary, because they are showing up everywhere throughout the parks as we quickly approach October 1st, and they are spectacular looking. You all are taking so many wonderful pictures of these great characters, and they look great. It's funny because some people criticize and they're like, "Oh, really, statues? Meh." I think they look spectacular.
They're stunning,
look wonderful, and they're my favorite thing I've seen from this week.
All right, good job, honey. Thank you. And I do want to. Well, I don't know. Do I need to explain to people that this week my whole thought process was planning this episode?
Right.
Does that count as an excuse for not remembering? But I did come up with one while you were talking, and that is actually, it's one of my favorite things, although it kind of surrounded, definitely a sad topic, but my sisters and I got together Zoom and started to solidify the ceremony that we want to have in memory of my mother. And it was really a fun, obviously it's not a fun topic, but getting together with my sisters, even though it was over Zoom, and kind of reminiscing, of our childhoods and some other, just fun jabs here and there. And it was a really enjoyable experience. And, it's always family is important. So
yes, absolutely.
The reason we had to come together was definitely sad in some of the topics, but again, it was surrounding the celebration of our mom. So, and we all felt that love together.
Right, and that is coming up here soon. It's been a little more difficult to put together because you're all scattered across the country in different locations, and friends, family. Your mother lived in a couple different portions of the country as well, and so trying to figure this whole thing out. And then there's this pandemic going on.
I know,
so
do you have it live? Do you do it virtual?
Right,
I know, yeah.
So, but it sounds like you've pretty much got most of the details ready to go, and that will be happening fairly soon. That's great. So
that was a great thing that happened.
That was a great thing that happened. So as for this week's show, we have lots of stuff for you this week. One, we're getting back to what is the countdown to Walt Disney World's 50th birthday, part 6B, because Michelle had so much content from last week, we decided to split it into two parts. So we'll get to that in a moment. But we also have lots of other stuff for you, including if you're looking to add a little extra magic to your Walt Disney World nighttime spectacular viewing, we have some really good news for you. Also, if you're planning on a holiday time trip to the most magical place on Earth, we have terrific news for you. There it is.
Bravo.
We have
I'm kidding.
It's all good. It was bound to happen sooner or later, and it'll bound to happen again sooner and later. So anyway, if you are planning on having a holiday time trip to the most magical place on Earth, we have terrific news that you might want to hear about the return of a guest favorite show. What could that be? And there's a change coming as to how you access one of the most popular Disney Hollywood Studios attractions. We will go over that with you really, really quickly and let you know what we think about that. But enough of this tomfoolery, literally, here.
That was good, honey.
Let's get to our main topic of the week.
Wonderful world of Disney.
All right. So this is, as you said, part B. And as we mentioned last week's show, the actual celebration to open Walt Disney World officially took place later in the month of October. Yes, October 1st was the official opening day to the public, but the big grand opening celebration was actually celebrated on October 25th. I mean, there were some other parties around that time too and some other celebrations, but that's the one that, had the biggest oomph to it.
So if you're booked for October 25th and you thought, oh, I wish I could have been there on the 1st, you have a different reason to celebrate.
Exactly.
If you're out at the Walt Disney World Resort at the Magic Kingdom Park.
A real 50th anniversary celebration there, too. So, but anyways, that's the day that Roy O. Disney gave his opening presentation. And there's a book out called Designing Disney, and it was by author John Hench, and he was a senior VP of Walt Disney Imagineering. And he was there, and he recalls the situation, and in his book he wrote, Roy Disney stood facing the microphone, ready to deliver the dedication speech at the opening ceremony. He suddenly turned and looked around, and I heard him say quietly, quote, "Somebody go find Mickey for me. We don't have Walt anymore, and Mickey is the nearest thing to Walt that we have left." Mickey then appeared, and Roy promptly began his speech, with Mickey standing proudly at his side. So let's listen to that official Walt Disney World dedication by Roy O. Disney.
Walt Disney World is a tribute to the philosophy and the life of Walter Elias Disney, and to the talents, the dedication, and the loyalty of the entire Disney organization that made Walt Disney's dream come true. May Walt Disney World bring joy and inspiration and new knowledge to all who come to this happy place. A magic kingdom where the young at heart of all ages can laugh and play and learn together. Dedicated this 25th day of October, 1971.
Okay. The other thing that really happened on that day was a very historical parade. And, doing the research about this and even seeing film footage about it is like mind-blowing, wish I was there kind of thing. But so it started off that the parade was led by none other than, of course, Mickey Mouse. He had the world's largest bass drum at the time. And it started with the Mickey Mouse Club theme song, obviously, as it started.
That's because he's the leader of
the club that's made for you and me. That's right. That's right. So, it brought in, there was like over 4,000 individuals at this parade, and it included, characters from all the Disney animated films at that time. Obviously, the marching toy soldiers were involved, and you can't have a great Disney parade without waltzing alligators and hippos from Fantasia, right? Am I right?
Absolutely.
So.
Definitely.
So, obviously some fan favorites there. But the real pinnacle of the parade was a performance by a very unique ceremonial marching band, and it was directed by the Music Man composer Meredith Willson, and they paraded down Main Street, USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Herald Trumpeters of the United States Army Band now salute the grand entry of the Walt Disney World 1076-piece ceremonial marching band under the direction of Music Man Meredith Willson.
Now, again, this is one, if you see the footage, and I would recommend you really look for it. It's pure Hollywood splendor. It's fabulous. So it starts with these heralding trumpeteers from the United States Army Band. They're lining the tops of the building and the tops of the train station. And, you know, they're heralding in this special portion of the marching or the marching band that's going to come in. So as they finish, a 1,076 member marching band, getting emotional, start to come in. So what they do is they're coming in from like the entrances, so like from the underpass of the train station, right? So they're split in two, coming through, playing that classic 76 trombone song. And what they do is on each side, if you can imagine, coming through that tunnel, they're like four abreast. And they walk through, they go around that hub where the flagpole are, and then they come together synchronized at the start of Main Street, USA. So now they're 8 across. So, I mean, it is like sidewalk to sidewalk, marching row after row. And these were tight rows. I mean, this 1,076 band members, of course. So they're going down, and by the time the first row gets to the castle, Main Street is just jam-packed row after row of this marching band. I mean, it is really, the word I could think of is majestic looking at it, you know.
If you can find pictures or video of it, it's incredible to see the band, just all of Main Street, USA, from the train station to Cinderella Castle, completely filled with this marching band, you know, going down Main Street, USA. It's pretty incredible.
It is pretty incredible, and you know, it's impressive to see. They really were pretty synchronized. The rows were, you know, perfection, no, but pretty darn close to it. So,
especially considering that these are many bands kind of put together into one large band. So I mean, I'm sure they did some practicing, but at the same time, it's not like they perform together all the time.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Good point. So, you know, kind of looking back and remembering the past, actually, Dave Phillips was among that very special band in 1971. And nearly 50 years later, he returned to the Magic Kingdom with his 5-year-old grandson, Gideon. And he says he remembers that remarkable day with fondness. And it was really heartwarming to hear how he got to share a visit to the park and watch the current Main Street Philharmonic Band march down with his grandson. And in fact, Disney Parks blog actually featured that unique moment earlier in the year in one of their blog posts. So, but what was really cute, interesting side note there is that Dave had actually missed the in-person grand opening parade audition, but he sent in a cassette tape to show his talent, and they actually selected him to join the band. So fate worked out for him.
Yeah, that's
for
awesome.
Sure. So this grand celebration that took place on October 25th was actually televised just 4 days later on a very special Wonderful World of Disney. You know, and as we mentioned in the last show, the real main reason for that is, you know, they obviously learned from having a live telecast of Disneyland opening that they wanted to make sure the kinks were worked out and that it did appropriately represent, you know, what this park had was going to be for everybody. So this television show is kind of funny. Again, looking back at some of the footage of this, it did include some top performers of the times. They would be strategically placed in different parts of the resorts. They showed some of the festivities taking place, including the dedication ceremony of the Contemporary Resort that was hosted by Bob Hope. But a lot of like singing and dancing, kind of like a variety show is what I would, even though it was supposed to be like a grand celebration, it just seems more like a variety show.
Lots of big names at the time made little cameos.
Right. One of the main, I guess she was pretty much, I would consider the host of it, was Julie Andrews. And
who?
I know, right?
What's she done?
Mary Poppins. But anyways, it really was spectacular at the beginning, even having her sing When You Wish Upon a Star. And she does do some other dancing and singing throughout the whole show. But, it is good. That show did really celebrate that very special parade. And the Disney Channel, when it was, first like a paid channel on cable, had a show called Walt Disney, and it actually replayed the television special on that. And so if you are interested in seeing that television special, you can find it on from the Walt Disney episode on YouTube. So that's out there if you're interested in looking at it. So, and I do have a couple other little fun facts.
Ooh, I love fun facts.
Related to
Michelle's fun facts. Always the best fun facts, the most fun, the funner fun facts.
But before I get on, do you have anything that, I know you've seen some things about the grand opening, you've read things, what are some of your feelings?
Well, I want to go back to the thing you led off with, which, and some of you may already know this, but when you see the pictures of the dedication with Roy there dedicating it, and you see kind of Mickey at his side, and you think, okay, of course Mickey Mouse is going to be there in the Magic Kingdom when they open it up. That was not the plan, and as you mentioned, they had no idea that Mickey would be there beside Roy to begin with, and that's why you see Mickey, and he's just kind of, his head's, you just kind of saw him, he's kind of got his hands folded and his head's kind of down, because Roy wanted that to be basically the presence of Walt there. Not that there isn't the presence of Walt is all through any of the Disney parks.
Right.
But, that was kind of, I need my brother by my side because this is all about him. That's why we renamed it Walt Disney World as opposed to just calling it Disney World, which was what was Walt's original idea for it. And so having Mickey there, in his stead, was such an impactful thing and simple thing. But, again, it was another interesting thing about Roy. It's like, I need my brother here. This is all about his dream.
Right.
And we are getting this done today. And so this is the closest thing to it is Mickey Mouse.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's just really such a touching story, and interestingly, in the television special, you don't see Roy's dedication. So that you can find also on YouTube in a lot of places, but it wasn't part of the TV special, which again just reinforces that Roy was not trying to take the limelight away of what this park was all
I
about.
want no part of the limelight. Part of the reason, like, I need my brother by my side. It's like I need somebody to support me.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I could share with you, but I think we're going to save them for a Roy Disney episode. But a lot of great love of Walt, for sure.
For sure. No question. Loved his little brother.
All right. Yeah. So.
All right. Fun facts.
Okay.
So Michelle, funner facts.
Just a few here. But one fun fact is that the 2021 calendar that we're in actually mimics the 1971 calendar day for day. So, I mean, obviously not some holiday things that, like Easter and things like that, but just the days of the week, etc. So
pumpkin spice day doesn't match up to pumpkin spice
I don't
day.
know, maybe. The Magic Kingdom Firehouse is called Engine Company 71 for the opening in 1971. And the golf courses started in 1971 with their Walt Disney World Open. I don't know if you could possibly guess at who was the first winner.
The first winner?
Yeah.
At a golf tournament?
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer.
very no, but I can see where you'd put that. It was Jack Nicklaus.
Okay, that would have been my second choice.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, and he actually won for years 1971 to 1973.
Wow.
So,
I heard he was kind of good.
yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard of him.
Yes.
So in ending this episode of the last episode of our countdown to the 50th anniversary, I also, like last time, want to include some special quotes. And unlike last week, I'm not going to try to say the quotes because, as we see, I get very emotional and I want you to be able to really experience it. So I think Bob Hope, who also gave some closing remarks in that TV special, had some beautiful comments about what is Walt Disney World.
You know, this fantastic scene is a tribute to the vision, imagination, and genius of Walt Disney. Walt Disney World is the culmination of a lifetime devoted to bringing joy and excitement and laughter to children and adults in America and throughout the world. You got to see this place. It's Dream City. New York, Paris, London, that's where the action is, but this is where the fun is. This is the place to relive your youth. You just walk in and you get 30 years off for good behavior. There's a spirit here, everywhere. It's in the air, everywhere you look. All this is Walt. This is what Walt wanted for all of us. An escape from our aspirant existence into a land of sparkle and lights and rainbows. Walt Disney loved the American way of life. He loved it so much that he recreated many of this nation's most joyful periods. Frontierland, Main Street, USA, way down yonder in New Orleans. Talking presidents that you can hear and enjoy here in Disney World today. Walt Disney loved America because his dream came true right here in America. He brought to us the delightful images of a kind of kaleidoscope of sound, motion, color, music, and beauty, and he tied it all up into one broad, beautiful, bountiful package called love. Maybe that's what we ought to rename this place, From Disney with Love. The entire world owes Walt Disney a great debt. He achieved much. But perhaps his greatest accomplishment is that he made children of us all.
Anyways, that is my look back at the grand opening celebration of Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom.
Really great job. It's such an interesting, fun celebration of the opening of the Magic Kingdom, opening of Walt Disney World, and all this that's come since in the 50 years, all the resorts, all the different other parks. October 1st is also Epcot's birthday as well.
Right.
Let's not forget that. And there's a few other things
There's
as
other
well.
October 1st grand openings.
Yeah, different resorts as well. But just an amazing time. And Michelle, you did such a fantastic job over these 6+ episodes, 6+ part series, breaking down, everything that, not everything, but many things that happened in the history of the Walt Disney World Resort as we get set to celebrate this big anniversary party that's coming up on October 1st. Fortunately, we were planning on attending. We won't be making now, but we'll be partying along with you no matter where you are, whether you're at the Walt Disney World Resort, whether you're at the Disneyland Resort, Disneyland Paris, or whether you're in your own home and just celebrating the anniversary of Walt Disney World. It's just really, really cool. And Michelle, great job.
Well, thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. Looking forward to toasting Walt for coming up with an amazing concept and Roy for making sure it happened for us.
For sure. So that is the final, the bonus episode of the final episode of our countdown to Walt Disney World's 50th birthday. This was the the Wonderful World of Disney continued portion. But we'd love to know how you're celebrating. Let us know.
Yeah.
And we still have another week before the actual celebration happens. Let us know how you're doing it, and we will share that on an upcoming show.
Yes, definitely.
So again, Michelle, great job.
The Wonderful World of Disney.
So much fun. So excited for Walt Disney World's 50th birthday. We will take part of the celebration, even if it's not going to be there we're not going to be there, at least on the day of the actual anniversary. We will be visiting many, many times over the next year while that celebration is continuing on. And we hope that you get the chance to celebrate there as well.
Yeah. And we'll get to wait for all the kinks to be worked out.
That's it. That's the key. Maybe some of the crowds to back down a little bit. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. But so much fun. And Speaking of that, today's Disney Stories of the Week is all Walt Disney World focused. I was looking for other stories, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, since we're going to it this week, revisiting this week. But it seemed like the biggest news was all wrapped around Walt Disney World this week. So that's where we're going with the Disney Stories of the Week. And I'm going to start with, if you're looking to add a little extra magic to your Walt Disney World nighttime spectacular viewing, we have some very good news for you. Yes. This from the Disney Parks blog. They say Disney Enchantment, a brand new dazzling nighttime fireworks spectacular, debuts on October 1st at Magic Kingdom Park. So exciting. To enrich your experience of this immersive show, there's a full menu of dessert party options. You heard it. The dessert party is back. That include viewing locations from the heart of the park all the way to Seven Seas Lagoon. And so you can discover all of those experiences and more within the Enchanting Extras collection. So the first way is you can check this one out if you maybe don't have a ticket to Magic Kingdom Park, or don't have a park hopper, or you just feel like I want to take a day away from the parks. This is a way you can still check out the fireworks show in an extravagant, fun way. And this is called the Celebration at the Top, 50th Flavors and Fireworks at Disney's Contemporary Resort.
Yeah.
And so this is what they call a sophisticated evening awaits at this event, where guests are welcome to the private Sonoma and Napa rooms at California Grill to sample a selection of specialty drinks, sushi, and small plates that play homage to the original menu from the resort's opening in 1971. That sounds fun, right?
Yeah, totally.
After an elevated cocktail hour, step outside to the observation deck on the 15th floor for a unique viewpoint of Disney's enchantment, complete with the synchronized music. The event continues back inside after the show with petit fours, cordials, and coffee. Sounds like a wonderful, wonderful night. And that view from up there on top of the California Grill, on top of the Contemporary,
special.
is really amazing. Yeah. So this one will cost you $129 per guest, 3 and above. Just so you know, it's not cheap, but that sounds like a pretty good.
Yeah,
it's sushi, small plates, cocktails, great viewing location, and then petit fours and cordials and coffee afterwards. Sounds great. For this will start on actually October 2nd, and reservations are available now for it. So if you have a trip planned for after October 2nd, you may want to, and you think this sounds cool, you may want to check into that. Now, if you are able to visit Magic Kingdom Park for Disney Enchantment, then there are 3 new dessert party options for you, and all of these begin on October 3rd with reservations, again, available right now. You might want to jump on that because I already saw that they're starting to sell pretty quickly. So the first is the Disney Enchantment pre-party. They say sweeten your evening at Tomorrowland Terrace Restaurant at Magic Kingdom Park with 50th anniversary themed desserts prepared by their pastry chef, a variety of cheeses and beverages with selections of beer and wine included. Then before the show begins, cast members will escort you to a reserved standing viewing location in one of the Plaza Gardens with prime viewing of Disney Enchantment. So if you knew the dessert parties from before, this is almost exactly the thing, just a little more themed to the 50th anniversary.
Right. Love it.
Yeah, I love that they have cheeses and everything, so they have a little savory along with the sweet options as well. This will cost $99 per adult, 10 or older, and $59 for children between the ages of 3 and 9 if you want to do this one. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't feel like standing when you're out there, well, there's also the Disney Enchantment Treats and Seats Party. For this one, you get the similar treats and beverages as the pre-party, but this will allow you to check out the fireworks views from the comfort of dedicated reserved seating at Tomorrowland Terrace Restaurant. So you can have a nice seat and sit there and watch the wonderful show as it happens there.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
Yes, this one's a little more expensive. It's $114 per guest, adults 10 or older, and $69 for children between the ages of 3 and 9. Now, if you feel, I want to see the fireworks, but I want to push off my dessert and everything till afterwards to celebrate afterwards, well, there's good news for you as well, because there's also the Disney Enchantment After Party. With this one, like the Disney Enchantment pre-party, you get reserved standing viewing at the Plaza Gardens for Disney Enchantment. Then after the show, you will have the chance to enjoy those same delicacies that the pre-party and the sitting party have at the Tomorrowland Terrace restaurant. This also, like the pre-party, is $99 per adult, 10 or older, and $59 for children between the ages of 3 and 9. So all great parties. I know that we will probably take advantage of one of those because we love the dessert parties. And we also like, since Michelle is a little vertically challenged, having a little bit better spot to be able to get her to see everything is usually a good way to go for us.
Right. Yeah. And it's fun seeing the dessert parties are returning. We've enjoyed them. Like you said, it helps with the viewing, and it's just a fun evening, fun way to cap off your evening at the park.
But this isn't the only option for you to check out Disney Enchantment from outside of the Magic Kingdom. And this is actually already going on. You can book this now for Happily Ever After for the last week of it or so. But right now, they also have what's called the Fairy Tale Fireworks, a sparkling dessert cruise. Now, they say with this one that you set sail from the Transportation and Ticket Center on one of the iconic ferry boats for a magical evening on the Seven Seas Lagoon. Once on board, taste a variety of bite-sized signature sweets, including build your own mousse. Wow, that sounds really cool. Key lime tarts, cupcakes, and specialty beverages with and without alcohol. Kids can even participate in an ultraviolet scavenger hunt. What is that? Why is that only for kids? I think I might want to check that out. During the cruise, guests can observe the Magic Kingdom Park fireworks accompanied by stunning water views. And like I said, this is available now, and you can also reserve it now. You can sail on it now. You can reserve it right now. Like the other parties, it's $99 per guest for adults 10 and older, $59 for children between the ages of 3 and 9.
Sweet. Yeah. Sounds like all great options. You know, just for more fun.
Yeah. And they showed some pictures of it. They have little tables on the ferry boats. You know, the ferry boats, if you don't take the monorail from the Ticket and Transportation to Magic Kingdom, you can take those ferry boats. And so they're fairly large. And it looks like a cool way to check them out. So that's exciting stuff. Now, Disney Enchantment isn't the only nighttime spectacular getting ready to debut, however. Harmonious, one of the largest nighttime spectaculars ever created for Disney parks. This is from the Disney Parks blog again. So just know this is going to read like a brochure a little bit. They say it will soon light the World Showcase Lagoon at Epcot beginning on October 1st with choreographed moving fountains, lights, pyrotechnics, and lasers in a 360-degree view. Harmonious shows how Disney music and stories had the power to bring people from all around the world together to unlock the magic of possibility. And if you're looking for dinner with the show, well, there are some viewing package options available for you. A couple of them, both at World Showcase for restaurants. Here is what they are. There's the Rose and Crown Fireworks dining package where they say dine under the stars on the patio at the Rose and Crown Dining Room, which serves classic British fare. While you sit back and enjoy the wonder of Harmonious, this package features a Prix Fix menu, including one appetizer, entree, dessert platter, and unlimited beverages. This will cost you $89 per person for guests 10 and up, and $39 per child ages 3 through 9. And those prices do include tax and gratuity.
Wow.
So that's nice that's already into the package. Now, if you want something a little bit different from the British fare, looking for something maybe a little more exotic, you can go to Spice Road Table Dining Package. This one, they say, dine in the covered outdoor dining area reminiscent of the cafes from the Moroccan seaside with stunning view of Harmonious. Spice Road Table offers a variety of Mediterranean small plates, including grilled lamb kefta, house-made hummus fries, and spiced chicken. The Spice Road Table Dining Package includes 2 small plates, a dessert platter, and unlimited beverages. It's a little less expensive, $72 per person for guests ages 10 and up, and $31 per child ages 3 through 9. And again, this also includes tax and gratuity. Nice. So both will be available beginning on when Harmonious debuts, October 1st, and reservations are opening this week on September 23rd. So if you're going on October 1st, you probably want to try and get on there quickly to get that. But either way, it's available for you. And both of those sound like excellent choices for viewing Harmonious.
Exactly. I mean, it's fun that you can still enjoy it without obviously a dinner package, but why not splurge sometimes.
Yes. Again, value is what it is to you. What is important to you? Some people will say, I will never pay for a dessert party package. I will never pay for one of these dining packages because I can get a great view wherever I am. I'm fine. I don't need all this. Maybe you have some little ones that, will have a little tough time seeing it. Maybe you are a little one like Michelle who may have a tough time seeing it. Maybe you just want a little extra comfort, extra luxury, whatever works for you.
Or you might be having your own celebration, not something to do every time, but just one time you really want to make it special.
Yeah. Value is to you whatever you make it to be. Right. And I think that these are several ways that we will probably take advantage of a few of these, as a matter of fact, when we get back to the Walt Disney World Resort. So I'm just glad that they're back, and they're right. Boy, we would have loved to have a dessert package for when we saw Happily Ever After. I know. So that's great news for sure.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Anyway,
totally.
Moving on, if you're planning on a holiday time trip to the most magical place on earth, well, we have terrific news for you. That's because there is a return coming of a guest favorite holiday time show.
So happy.
Again, from the Disney Parks blog, they said earlier this year, we gave you a sneak peek of some of the magical experiences coming your way for a spectacular season of holiday joy during the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World Resort. That wasn't everything we have in store for you, though. And today they say we are thrilled to tell you that the Candlelight Processional will be back this year from November 26th through December 30th as part of the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays presented by Advent Health.
I know. So great.
If you've never done the Candlelight Processional, religious, not religious, it will just make your holiday time. Christian, Jewish, whatever your religion, if you're an atheist, if you're agnostic, whatever, it is just filled with joy and fun and wonder, and highly recommend it.
Right. It's a fun atmosphere. They always have amazing hosts or guest narrators. It's just all great atmosphere to be around.
Right. It's so much fun. They go on to say the Candlelight Processional is a long-standing Disney Parks tradition dating back to 1958 at the Disneyland Park. Yes, it was at Disneyland first. Walt Disney World guests have enjoyed the annual Candlelight Processional since the opening in 1971, initially at Magic Kingdom Park, and then since 1994 at Epcot. After being greatly missed during last year's holiday season, this magnificent production will once again grace the American Gardens Theater with a live orchestra, cast choir, and celebrity narrator retelling the traditional Christmas story in a spectacular and heartwarming fashion. Now, they say that since all these performers, including cast members, musicians, singers, and narrators, will be required to be fully vaccinated, this year we are not planning on host choirs from different community groups and schools. Instead, to maintain the grandeur of the performance, they say we are expanding our cast member choir to fill the stage with voices. They say we're optimistic that the guest choirs will be able to rejoin them next year for this special holiday opportunity. So, yeah, normally it's a lot of local choirs that come in and fill that, but because of what's going on right now, they want to get it into a little bit more control, especially since people are going to be, mask off, out there singing in tight, quarters, close together. So they wanted to be sure that everybody there will be vaccinated. Now, no official word yet on the narrator schedule, but there will be dining packages available again, which if you do this, you're going to eat dinner anyway, you're going to have lunch or breakfast. Take advantage of that because it gets you the better seats. You don't have to wait there all the day to try and get in there in a standby queue. Highly recommend you doing the dining packages, and we'll let you know when we find out more of the details.
Right. Yeah, the dining packages, it is great that they expanded, over the years to include lunch and breakfast, and some locations that are not necessarily in the park as well. So.
Yeah. So, keep an eye on the Disney Parks blog. We'll let you know, check out on the Walt Disney World page, the Candlelight Processional. They'll keep you updated on what those packages may entail, who the narrators are, so you can kind of know, depending on when your trip is, or if you want to plan a trip around, there are certain narrators that people will plan their visit around because I'm not going to say they're all great, but there are some that are a little better than others. Let's face it, that we want to see them a little more than others. So, but they're all great. No matter who you get, you're going going to have a good time for sure.
Right, definitely.
Yes.
So.
Moving on, we have one more Walt Disney World story. It's a quick one for you. There's a change coming as to how you access one of the most popular Disney Hollywood Studios attractions.
Yeah.
Again, this from the Disney Parks blog. They said, we know our guests love choice and flexibility when planning their time in a theme park, which is why starting on September 23rd this week, we will pause the use of virtual queue for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. And guests at Disney's Hollywood Studios may experience this incredible attraction using a traditionally standby queue for the first time since it opened in 2019. So you still will be using the virtual queue up until September 23rd. Mm-hmm. But on September 23rd, it is rope drop city, baby.
Right.
If you want to be sure to get there.
Yeah, I kind of understand it. I mean, there's a lot of people, and especially with the 50th anniversary too, I'm sure they're bringing in a lot of first-time people to the parks that may not have researched to know how to use virtual queues and downloaded the app ahead of time and really feel like they missed an opportunity. So, and it'll be interesting to see how it all works without having the virtual queue. I'm anxious to see it. Actually.
I think this is an interesting test that they're running right now. I think it's one that, yes, they're saying, we want to make it easier for you. You can just line up as you would for any other, most every other attraction. There are a couple of other virtual queues. Ratatouille will be a virtual queue when that opens up, and that debuts on October 1st. But I also I think they want to see what happens here. When we do this, do we have a queue that is 7 hours long, standby line? Or do we have, something like Flight of Passage where, it can be long, an hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever, sometimes longer than that. But is it more of a traditional queuing? If people are really want to ride this thing, they're willing to wait in that standby for that long. So it'll be an interesting experiment that they're doing. Now, they are saying that this doesn't necessarily mean that they will not go back to the virtual queue for a Rise of the Resistance at some other point. And this does not mean that they're completely getting out of the virtual queue game, as I mentioned.
Right.
Still going to be virtual queue for Ratatouille. As far as we know right now, there are some other attractions that I think will be coming within the next couple of years that may also be virtual queues, at least to begin with. Still over here at Disneyland on our coast, those Rise of the Resistance is still a virtual queue for Disneyland as of when we're recording this today. Still a virtual queue for Web Slingers as well. So just know that going out there. They said, just check on it on your My Disney Experience app for the latest on how they're doing this with all their virtual queues, and check back with them.
Right.
So that's it for the Disney stories of the week. However, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle because she's awesome, wonderful, fantastic, spectacular, all things great in the world. She has the best lists. She, as you heard today, does the best research, but she definitely has the very best tips. So let's get to it. Here is Michelle's tip of the week.
Oh my gosh. What a build-up. No, you're so sweet. Before I give my tip, I wanted to interject here a very off-topic quote. I really couldn't think of any other place to put it in this episode. But it's specifically directed to, and finger quotes, help one of our listeners. It's somebody that, to keep his, and I can't say this word, anonymity, to keep him anonymous.
Anonymity.
Thank you. I said it before the episode, but I can't do it now.
It's okay. I can't say regular words, as you've heard throughout the show.
Okay, so we won't use this real...
I can't even say the name of our show.
Yes, you can. But yeah, you're right. You did mess up. We're just going to call him Tat. Tat. Yeah, I don't want to give away his real name.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I know, right? Mystery person. But it's really in response to a comment he made in one of his recent podcasts. He does a podcast with a friend.
Smarls.
No, I think we can give his name because it's Charles from Conversations, which, by the way, they have an amazing Star Wars podcast that if you're not listening to it yet, you really should.
Yes, those guys are hilarious.
They are hilarious, and they have really great, interesting topics. You may remember they've been on our podcast. We've been on theirs, and we do have a very special joint episode coming up with them, as well as some co-hosts of the Hoopty Duo Review podcast.
Yes,
Kim and Rob.
Kim, yes.
We're looking forward to that. But anyways, Tat, you did give very compelling points in your prequel versus sequel episode. But just to keep the record straight on one matter, here is a quote by George Lucas. Star Trek softened up the entertainment arena so that Star Wars could come along and I'm quoting, stand on its shoulders, end quote. Anyways.
Pat knows all about standing on shoulders.
It's Tat. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know any Pats.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm confusing people.
You are.
Yeah.
Anyways, now to my tip.
This all goes back to a little dig that way. If you go back, if you want to go and find the Conversations last episode, there was a little dig at Michelle from Tat.
He just needs to learn the truth, but we'll give him time. Anyways, okay.
Love you, Tat.
Love you, Tat. And Charles.
Smarls.
Yeah. It's how you put the emphasis, right, on the words. Okay.
Put it on the wrong syllable.
Yes. Oh, man, we're really digressing. We definitely need food or something.
We have any listeners left at this point? They're okay, tuned out. It's a good thing your tip is coming because that's what they really stick around for. So.
Well, I actually have two things. One's really, I don't know if you call it a tip. It's kind of an FYI. So if you're planning to attend the Disneyland dessert party during the Oogie Boogie Bash at Sonoma Terrace, we want you to know it is mentioned on the Disneyland website, but it's not something that may shout out to you, but they do have shared seating for this event. So that means if you're a party of one or two, you could be placed at a table with another group. And we're not here to give opinions. We just want you to be informed of that. Talking to some people, they may not want to share a table with another family that they don't know. We just don't want you to be caught off guard in that situation.
Yeah,
So
it's not cheap.
Right.
You're spending good money on this thing. So if it's something that, during the pandemic might make you uncomfortable, or at any time, maybe you're just not someone who likes to sit with other people. If it makes you uncomfortable, know that going in before you decide to spend all this money on this thing. Yeah,
exactly. So
my
official tip, I guess, would be, it's a little one, but if you are entering Epcot through the International Gateway entrance, and you need ECV, you'll be happy to know that you can rent them just inside that entrance. They're around the World Traveler shop there. So you don't have to try to get all the way to the front main entrance of Epcot. They also have that available to you at the International Gateway entrance.
That's important to know. Also, if you're going to the Disneyland Resort and they still don't have the parking trams running yet from the Mickey and Friends and the Pixar Palace parking lot there. But what they do have is, if you are someone who needs to rent a stroller or a scooter or a wheelchair, that is all right there in that parking garage. You can get them right before you go through security, as a matter of fact. They have cash register there, everything ready for you. So you can go ahead if you were in need of one of those. They're right there for you. At least last we were there. I'm assuming it's still the case. Yep. So good to know. Michelle's tip, always the very best tip. And Michelle's digs, always the worst digs.
I'm just trying to help Tat.
I'm sure he appreciates it.
I want him to see the light.
Very much. Very much. So my tip for this week, I'm going to tell you another thing about getting to destinations, and specifically getting from, if you are going on a Disney cruise or have a Disney cruise planned soon at Port Canaveral. I wanted to just kind of remind you of a few transportation options you have of getting from either the Orlando International Airport to Port Canaveral or back. or your Walt Disney World Resort stay
Right.
or back. Or it could be actually any place that you're coming from, any hotel in Orlando, whatever. There are several options for you. I mean, there's obviously the easy one, which is just booking transportation through Disney,
Right.
which they will pick you up right there at the airport. You get on one of the buses, they'll take your luggage for you. That will go end up right up in your room. And that's an easy way to do it. It's no fuss, no muss, but it's not cheap.
Right.
It's $39 per guest per way.
Right.
So that will start to add up quickly if you decide you want to do it. Same thing if you're doing this from the Walt Disney World Resort. You can do it from there as well. Just know that a lot of times with those, they take multiple stops at multiple resorts. Oftentimes, you are some of the last people to get to the Port Canaveral cruise.
Yes.
Not saying you will be,
Right,
but
right, yeah.
oftentimes you may be. So just know that going in. So there are some other options as well. Again, those are the easy options.
Right.
It's all handled by Disney. You're good to go. There's other possibilities, though. If you're going from the Orlando International Airport, there are independent shuttle companies that will bring you to Port Canaveral, running from as little as $25 per guest. So, family of four, $100, not so bad. Right there from the airport, right to Port Canaveral, $100 back. You just plan it with them to have them come and pick you up, bring you back to the airport. You can also, of course, do a ride share with the several ride share companies. They don't advertise with us. I'm not going to mention them. You know who they are. That will cost you anywhere from around $70 on up, depending on your class of service, time of day, all sorts of, what drivers are available for you or whatever. So, that's a flat fee. It's, you can have as many people and bags as you can fit in there.
Right.
For $70 on up, depending on that. So not so bad, but it's an option for you. But a way that I want you to think about is you can also rent a car and go one way from either the airport to the rental car locations near Port Canaveral, or from the Walt Disney World Resort to that same location near there. You get there, you drop off your car. They have a shuttle that runs right to the cruise terminal. Same thing on the way back. The shuttles run regularly through the terminals, pick people up, take you back to the area.
Right.
You can pick up your rental car and you can head back to the airport or back to a lot of times this is a really good option because, I know the prices over the summer got crazy expensive, but a lot of times during the year, and they are coming down again now, this is a reasonable, you might be able to get a rent-a-car for less than $50,
right?
For a one day. If you're at the Walt Disney World Resort, you can book it at the Disney World Car Care Center there. They will pick you up from your resort in a shuttle, take you right there, pick up your car, you grab everything and head out to the port, and you're good to go. You're in a little more control, and it might save you a few bucks as well. So again, you pick what's right for you, but I just wanted to give you some options of some ways to get to that Disney cruise depending on where you're coming from or heading out to.
Well, great tip. Like with the rental car too, so whether you're staying anywhere around, it's a good way to know that if you're arriving before, days before, you have that option as well as the day of. But the other thing too is, let's say, because now you have very specific times for port arrival, and they're all right now after 1 p.m. So you may be checking out of your resort and feel like you have some extra time. You may want to go by a beach or, just driving around or just checking out the areas and have a little bit more flexibility with getting around to where you want to get to. And in terms of like taking the Disney arranged transportation, one of the things that they've said is you don't need a booking time. You're going to arrive when they take you.
Right.
So, I'm not saying good or bad. It's just that's something
the
that's
reality.
included with it. Yeah. So,
and also as far as the Disney Car Care Center, it's a good thing to know because, I've heard this and we haven't experienced it personally, but I hear there are some other theme parks that people enjoy within the Orlando area. Now, if you're in Walt Disney World for a week or more, maybe you might want to take a day and visit one of these other random theme parks that happen to be around there that I've heard there's some cool stuff there or whatever. But you don't want to have a rental car for the entire week, 10 days,
Right.
whatever. That's great for the car care center's sake. You can get that rental car for a day or 2 days or whatever you need it for, and then zip off to your location
Right.
that you want to, these other random theme parks that you may want to stop by and visit. We joke. There are some great theme
Right,
parks
sure.
that you really should check out at some point. We're Disney, but we're not going to sell you that there aren't great
Right.
other theme parks within the Orlando area that you may want to see. And that's a great way to do that and not have to have a rental car for your entire stay.
Right. And plus, then you're not paying for parking.
Right. Well, you may be for one day, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Or if you're getting it on the day, if you're checking out and then going someplace else.
That's
But,
true. That's a good point. Michelle always has the very best points.
funny.
That's it for this week. Next week, well, I don't know if you've heard anything about this, but it is the spooky season.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of spooky season offerings available at the parks. We haven't even hit October yet, but it's pumpkin spice season
Yeah.
everywhere. And we love pumpkin spice season. So we'll be sharing some of our favorite food and fun from Halloween time at the Disney parks.
Yeah. It's a fun episode. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we're going to get to experience a little bit of that tomorrow.
Yeah,
when
some
we get out
special
to the parks.
news.
Yeah.
Yes.
So looking forward to that. So as for today, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. See, I can say it.
Yeah.
And
bravo.
while you're there,
We would love it if you haven't done so already to sign up for our newsletter.
please sign up for the newsletter. It's just another great way to be a part of the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. By the way, I forgot to mention this earlier, and I should have. Don't forget that we are taking nominations now for our newest category in our Hyperion Adventures Disney Hall of Fame. It is Best Disney Sidekick. Only Olaf made it in last year, so it's wide open. Let us know your 5-ish favorite Disney sidekicks and make sure that they make it onto our final ballot.
Yeah. How fun.
Yes, how fun. You can also follow us on social media. Please find us on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, go ahead and join us in our fun little Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group for a lot of positive Disney fun.
Yeah, the members that are already participating are fabulous. We love you all, and we want you to invite more of your friends.
Yeah, I'll grow that community even more so. We are also on YouTube. Just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast, hit subscribe, and you'll know whenever we have a new video there. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, we always love hearing from you. And
Always.
we also really, really appreciate it and love when you tell a friend about the podcast.
Yep, that's the easiest way for people to find out about this show. Just tell your friends. They tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends, and so on.
Wow, you
and
haven't done
so
that in a
on,
while.
And so on.
Thankfully.
It's because most
Thankfully.
people, I think there's probably 5 listeners. Well, there's only 5 listeners.
I know.
But
So
there's probably
maybe 2 of them know about that.
2 of them know what I'm referring to when I say that. But anyway, yeah, that's a great way for people to find out about this show. And please, if you get a chance to, give us a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever
Yes.
you can, give us a review, a rating. They help so much for other people to find our show in many different ways.
Right, and we truly appreciate it and appreciate the love you all have shared in the past.
Yes, we appreciate all of you, every single one of you. Thank you for being a Hyperion Adventurer. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.